Jerry has long been viewed as a comedy purist, known for his clean style, observational wit, and obsession with the craft of comedy. He's not shy when it comes to calling out what or who he doesn't respect, though he may not often start feuds in public. Over the years, clues have surfaced pointing to 5 comedians that Seinfeld simply couldn't stand. Let's pull back the curtain and take a look at the top 5 comedians Jerry Seinfeld reportedly hated the most and why. 1. Bobcat Goldthwait. Too loud, too wild. First on the list, the wild, unpredictable Bobcat Goldthwait. Known for his exaggerated, chaotic persona and raspy voice, Bobcat made a name for himself in the 80s and 90s with a brand of comedy that was, well, the complete opposite of Seinfeld's. Seinfeld once publicly mocked Bobcat without naming him directly on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, referring to him as a creepy, weird guy with a voice that was fake and annoying. The jab didn't go unnoticed. Bobcat fired back on social media, calling Seinfeld bitter and elitist. Their feud became a textbook case of what happens when 2 comedians with very different comedic values collide. 2. Andy Kaufman Performance Art vs. Stand-up. While Jerry Seinfeld has always respected comedy structure, Andy Kaufman treated comedy like abstract art. Known for his bizarre, surreal performances like reading The Great Gatsby aloud on stage, Kaufman confused audiences more often than he made them laugh. Jerry never directly slammed Kaufman, but insiders claim he couldn't wrap his head around Andy's any comedy. In interviews, Seinfeld has expressed disdain for comics who don't care about getting laughs, and that, in his book, was a cardinal sin Kaufman committed regularly. For Seinfeld, comedy is a craft tight, rehearsed, and honed. Kaufman's chaotic unpredictability, just not funny. 3. Dane Cook Style over substance. At the height of his fame, Dane Cook was filling arenas and captivating young audiences with his high energy, exaggerated storytelling. But critics and many veteran comedians argued that his material was shallow. Seinfeld, though never directly attacking Cook, has voiced his dislike for comics who pander to audiences rather than refining their art. On one occasion, he even joked about how being loud doesn't make something funny, a not-so-subtle reference that many believe was aimed at Dane. In comedy circles, it was known that Seinfeld saw Cook as more of a showman than a comedian, flashy, yes, but lacking substance. 4. Andrew Dice Clay the vulgar villain. Perhaps the biggest contrast to Jerry's clean-cut persona was Andrew Dice Clay, the Diceman whose act was brash, explicit, and drenched in controversy. His rise in the late 80s brought sold-out shows and a mountain of backlash. Seinfeld has long advocated for clean comedy and once said he didn't understand the need to be disgusting. Though he never mentioned Clay by name in that statement, the reference was pretty clear. Dice Clay represented everything Seinfeld didn't like: crude humor, shock value, and an attitude that blurred the line between character and comedian. 5. Bill Hicks the intellectual rebel. Now here's a wild card. Bill Hicks, known for his sharp political and social commentary, was often hailed as a comedic prophet, but his biting, aggressive tone didn't sit well with everyone. Jerry Seinfeld's comedy is famously apolitical. He believes stand-up should be about shared experiences, not soapboxes. And while he never publicly condemned Hicks, industry rumors suggest that Seinfeld considered Hicks too angry and too interested in changing minds rather than entertaining. Hicks fans adored him for his truth-telling, but Seinfeld, he was never impressed. Final thoughts. Is it really hate? Now, let's be clear. The word hate in showbiz doesn't always mean seething rage. Often, it's a strong disapproval, a professional eye roll, or a fundamental clash in values. Seinfeld isn't known for feuds, but he is known for speaking his mind when it comes to comedy. What this list really shows is that Seinfeld draws a clear line between what he sees as real comedy and what he considers fluff, gimmick, or ego-fueled nonsense. If you're not serving the audience quality laughs well, you probably won't make it on his favorites list. Whether you agree or disagree with him, one thing's for sure: Seinfeld has never been afraid to tell it like it is, even if it means ruffling a few funny feathers.